going on, guys? Rewinds here, and I'm bringing you some Boruto manga chapter 62 spoilers. Actually, this is going to be the full spoilers for chapter 62. I usually do this every month whenever possible. Last month it didn't happen because OrganicDinosaur couldn't translate everything on time, but this month OrganicDinosaur seems like is translating the whole chapter, giving us the full summary of it before it officially drops, so I'll be covering that. So far we got the first 31% of the chapter, which is going to be pages 1 through 13, so let's jump into that at the moment, and then we'll move on to the other ones as they come out. So the chapter is titled A Chance Encounter, and the cover of it features Code, and it says, "Code is fast approaching. Where will Kawaki's decision lead him?" So the side text of page 1 says, "Kawaki has suddenly extinguished his chakra response and has left behind a shadow clone. What are his intentions?" The chapter opens with Kawaki still making his way through the trees. Meanwhile, Boruto is still left at Kawaki's shadow clone, who is delightfully still lounging and wondering what's going on. Boruto says, "Seriously, that prick Kawaki, in terms of distance, this guy's probably already outside of the village by now." Kawaki says nothing. Boruto says, "Oi, Kawaki, what are you planning on doing?" "I'm telling you, it's dangerous. Come back here." Kawaki says, "You're not going to stop making such a racket, are you? Listen up. Don't do anything unnecessary, Boruto." Boruto says nothing. Boruto then runs straight to the window and leans outside, calling out to the observers Shinobi who's been watching over them on the wire pole. Boruto says, "Are you sensing chakra properly? Don't be so absent-minded." The middle-aged dude says, "Huh?" Boruto says, "Kawaki ran away, you know. He's probably already gotten pretty far away. You didn't sense that?" The middle-aged dude says, I can figure out your movements. That's because I'm constantly sensing your chakra. So please stop with your tactless lies. I know that both of you are in that room." Boruto says it's no use. Boruto then sprints past Kawaki and out the door of the room. Kawaki is seemingly and silently still lounging there. Meanwhile, Code has his claw mark pressed against his right ear. Ada is still guiding him while hugging onto a sleeping daemon. Ada says, "Head a little bit more to the right. That's it. Just keep heading straight ahead like that." Code says, "I wonder how long it's been since we last met, in person and face to face. Now then, what should we talk about?" The panel then shifts briefly to Kawaki, who is still running freely in the wild. The scene then shifts to Boruto, who's now running down the stairs. Naruto and Hinata are still seated at the dining room table with the vase. Boruto says, "Dad, Kawaki vanished." Naruto says, "Huh? What do you mean?" Boruto says, "I don't really know much, but he's run away. We gotta chase after him right now." Naruto says, "You're saying that he's escaped? That shouldn't be possible." Boruto says, "I'm being serious. He probably extinguished his chakra. That's why this middle-aged dude from the sensory division didn't notice." Naruto then walks out the door and asks the middle-aged dude himself. Naruto says, "Nishi, thanks for your hard work. Could you sense Kawaki's chakra?" The middle-aged dude, or Nishi as we now know him, says, "Hokage, thank you for your hard work too. There's no abnormalities. I can confirm that your son and Kawaki are both home." Boruto then storms outside too. Boruto says, "You're wrong. The one inside the house is a shadow clone. It's a decoy. The real one extinguished his chakra and escaped. He's probably already left the village." Naruto says, "Nishi, please extend your range and carefully sense him. Please ask the other members of your team for some assistance too. As a precaution, notify Shikamaru as well." And then Kawaki's shadow clone notices. Real Kawaki says, "That prick Boruto, he did something unnecessary." The real Kawaki then catches something out of the corner of his eye. It's Code coming straight at him. Kawaki says, "Code." Code seemingly starts taking swings at Kawaki from behind and manages to slap on a claw mark right onto Kawaki's mid-back. Kawaki is rather surprised. Code then starts making some studded black belts onto the nearby tree trunks and branches surrounding them. Code jumps into one of the claw marks that's located near himself, and then pops out literally right behind Kawaki. Code manifests himself into a sitting position where his knees just peep out of the claw mark. Code says, "Hey, Kawaki, long time no see. You've gotten kinda chubby." Kawaki just stares back at him over his shoulder in complete silence. And that is going to be scene 1. It seems like plot is progressing pretty well for the first 1/3 of the chapter. We'll see what happens as the rest of the chapter comes out, but from what I understand, it's going to be a decent bit of action in this one. So moving on, we got pages 14 to 21 over here, and this is going to be taking us to 50% through the whole chapter. So we are going to pass the halfway point, and then I think there's going to be maybe either one or two more big scenes where we should have translations. But here we go into this one. This scene is basically everything that happens up until Kawaki versus Code actually begins. So it says the scene switches back to the Uzumaki household. Naruto and Boruto are headed back up the stairs. Naruto says, "So you said that his chakra disappeared. What did you mean by that, Dadabayo?" Boruto says, "Well, I don't understand it, but he's actually managed to escape surveillance by doing it. Hurry up, we've got to pursue him or else things are going to get bad." Naruto says, "If what you're saying is true, then the sensory division can't even grasp his movements. But how were you able to figure this out?" Boruto says, "Well, I mean, even I don't really know how I did, but..." Naruto says, "And Boruto, by no means should I think about it like this, but you and Kawaki aren't colluding with one another and planning something, right?" Boruto says, "What? What do you mean? You're suspicious of me?" Naruto says, "Well, not like that. I mean, didn't you say how being under surveillance was stressful?" Boruto says, "That's a fact, but..." Naruto opens the door to the room where Kawaki's shadow clone was lounging. He's no longer laying there anymore. Boruto says, "The shadow clone vanished, that jerk." The main observer then suddenly appears at the windowsill. Nishi says, "Hokage, about Kawaki's chakra that I sensed just a moment ago. It suddenly just disappeared. But I was so sure that he was right here." Boruto says, "I told you so. That's because he was a shadow clone. He successfully outwitted you." Nishi says, Naruto, speechless. The scene then pans over the Situation Room in the Hokage's office where they can telepathically communicate with one another through Ino. Shikamaru says, "Kawaki has vanished? What do you mean by that? What happened? Was this Code's doing?" Amado's just smoking a cigarette, doesn't say anything. Naruto says, "I don't understand it either, but I heard about it from Boruto. Apparently Kawaki ran away on his own volition. He even managed to slip through the watchful eyes of the lookout. I'm ashamed that such a huge blunder occurred when he was by my side." Ino says, "But what I don't understand is, it seemed like he had grown completely accustomed to being in the village too. At this stage, where is he trying to go?" Shikamaru says, "It doesn't matter what happened. At any rate, we have no other options but to look for him, right? It's risky and dangerous for him to be left alone, especially since he's being targeted by Code." Ino says, "Leave it to me. I'll get in contact with everyone in the sensory division." Naruto says, "But there's still one problem. Why can't we sense Kawaki's chakra? We still don't know what caused that." Shikamaru says, "What? What's going on?" Boruto's thinking to himself now, and he says, "Just a moment ago there was a hint of Kawaki, but right now I don't feel anything at all. Does this mean he's gotten really far away?" Boruto now says out loud, "At this rate, things are going to get really bad. We have to go after him." Naruto says, "Hold up, Boruto, where do you think you're going? You're still under surveillance too, you know." Boruto says the sensory division won't be able to pursue Kawaki. At this rate, we'll lose sight of him completely. Naruto says, "Don't worry about it and leave it to your father and his teammates. Don't do anything rash." Boruto says, "Dad." Naruto says, "Didn't you hear Ino? They'll search the entire village. There's constant vigilance in case the enemy invades us." Boruto doesn't say anything and storms off from the room. Amado says, "What do you mean? How did you lose sight of Kawaki? What's the surveillance doing about it?" Shikamaru says, "Save it for later. Don't put blame on us right now. The issue at hand is that Kawaki ran away on his own volition. What's his motive? Why would he do something like this?" Amado doesn't say anything. Meanwhile, Boruto has put back on his normal shinobi outfit and Sasuke's forehead protector. He's now on the move from the rooftops. Boruto's thinking to himself, "The last time I felt a hint of Kawaki was probably when he was leaving the village and heading west. I have to locate him. Even though the sensory division can't find Kawaki's chakra, they should be able to sense my chakra." So that's going to be it for the halfway point of the chapter. I'm going to cut over to the next scene, but it does seem like we're going to be getting a lot of build up for like a rescue mission maybe. So maybe this could be like something similar to a Sasuke retrieval arc. But we'll find out. Let's keep reading on. So moving on, now we're on pages 22 to 29. This is going to take us to about 69% through the chapter. And then I believe from there on, it's going to be a lot more action and less talking. So we should really only have one more big scene to translate. But we'll see what happens when it comes out. But as of right now, this one says, the scene shifts to Kawaki and Code duking it out. Kawaki has transformed his right arm and is trying to swing it back towards Code. Code's transformed right claw hand catches Kawaki's arm in the midst of his swing through. Code has manifested himself a bit more from his claw mark. He's practically standing on top of Kawaki's back now. Code says that's a rather violent greeting, especially since we haven't seen each other in a while. Code then pulls his left leg completely out of his claw mark to kick Kawaki away. Kawaki tumbles back onto the ground groaning. Ada's left eye has a black sclera, while her other eye has a white sclera. She's still holding on to Damon, who's fast asleep. Ada says, wait a minute, Code. What if you accidentally kill him? Code gracefully lands back onto the ground. Kawaki is now on his hands and knees trying to get up from the rubble. Code says, just calm down. Why don't we talk for a bit about our futures? Kawaki just angrily stares back at Code. Kawaki then readies his right hand and charges up some energy into his palm. Kawaki fires the ball of energy straight at Code, who is walking towards him. Kawaki is crouched, looking at the aftermath from the blast. Code isn't there though. Code then suddenly appears from right behind Kawaki. Code says, you're such an idiot. If you were in this village, you would be safe. What were you thinking, roaming around nonchalantly like this all alone? Kawaki says, you bastard, I came here to meet you, Code. Though I didn't expect that you'd freaking show up like this so soon. Code says, so what do you want? Kawaki stands back up. His arm has returned to a normal state. They are standing face to face now. Kawaki glares at Code, but Code seems unbothered. Kawaki says, you are taking revenge upon those who killed Otsutsuki Ishiki, right? Code says, yeah, seems like you know a lot. I'm planning on at least 4 people dying, you know. Kawaki says, I'm the one who killed Ishiki. The other people who had nothing to do with it. Code just stares blankly ahead at Kawaki. Kawaki says, if you're going to kill someone, kill me, and then back out and take your hands off of Konoha. Wow, Kawaki has come a long way, guys. He really has, and this shows it. He's willing to put his own life, he's willing to throw his own life away, sacrifice himself to Code, just in order to protect everybody in the village. I mean, I'm sure mainly it's Naruto and Boruto and, you know, the rest of the Uzumaki household now, but definitely mainly Naruto. But Kawaki's changed a lot, and this shows it. This is definitely going to be an interesting interaction between these two, and this wasn't what I was expecting Kawaki to say to him, but this is what we got. Let's jump into the next scene. So now we got pages 30 to the end of the chapter. So this is going to be it. This took a little bit to come out, but nonetheless, it is out now. This is scene 4. This is the second half of the whole Kawaki versus Code fight. So it starts off by saying Code is just staring back at Kawaki. Kawaki says, I have to reap the seeds that I've sown from the start. If I hadn't escaped from Kara, I wouldn't have ended up in this situation. Code just starts laughing. Code says, now I get what you were trying to say. You seriously went through all that trouble to come all the way here just to make such a shitty proposal? In exchange for your own life, you thought I would let your friends off the hook? Kawaki says nothing. And Code just straight up knees Kawaki right in his ribcage. Kawaki coughs out some blood and then falls face first onto the ground. Code says, you certainly committed a grave sin, more so than the others did. However, that's a separate discussion. It depends on whoever was involved in killing Ishiki. It doesn't matter how many people were involved, I'll kill them all. Kawaki balls up a fist and then pathetically crawls towards Code while he's still on his stomach. Kawaki's right hand finally grasps onto the first half of Code's foot and toes. Kawaki says, I'm begging you, Code, don't lay your hands on Konoha. Code just stares down at Kawaki, motionless, and then Code just mercilessly kicks Kawaki straight in the face. Ada says, what are you? Code just walks towards Kawaki as if to stomp on him again. Code grips Kawaki by his hair and then pulls Kawaki's face up close to his. Kawaki's face has open wounds and some residual blood around his nose, plus corners of his mouth. Code then pulls Kawaki even closer so that he's speaking right into his face. Code's eyes widen a bit. Sounds like this battle is very gruesome, just based off the description here. And I feel like when it does get adapted into the anime, it's going to get censored a bit because they don't show blood like that anymore. But that's my initial thoughts on it so far. Code says, you've got to stop screwing around, Kawaki. Since this body of yours was even the legitimate vessel of Otsutsuki Ishiki at some point, you shouldn't look so pathetic, groveling on the bare earth like this on your hands and knees. Ada says, you're the one who's got to stop screwing around, Baka Code. Isn't Kawaki's beautiful face messed up enough already? Damon suddenly starts to wake up. Shut up. Is it morning already? It's still nighttime, so please let a kid get some sleep. Code then slams Kawaki back onto the dirt while Code just keeps staring down at him. Code says, I know, Kawaki, about what happened to Otsutsuki Ishiki at that moment, about how he died, the whole story, and I'm the one who inherited the will of the Otsutsuki, and I'll be acting in accordance with the late Ishiki's wishes. I will bring forth the God Tree upon this planet and procure a chakra fruit. I think you already know about all of this though. But the God Tree will completely devour all of the chakra that exists on this planet. Almost everyone will perish unless they manage to escape to another dimension. Now do you understand what it means for me to take revenge upon those who killed Ishiki? It's merely going to be the beginning to a great calamity that will benefit everyone soon enough. Befall everyone soon enough. Kawaki stays silent. Code then kneels down in front of Kawaki. Kawaki still laying on the ground on his stomach. Code says, before they die and get consumed by the God Tree, I'm gonna freaking kill them with my own bare hands. So I'm just saying, that's all I'm personally fixated on doing. But it won't affect the outcome at all. The outcome is that everyone will die. You should understand that well soon enough, right? If you think that your life alone can change anything, it's already too late for that. The situation has gone way beyond that, where it's been on a whole other level for a while now. Code then suddenly starts choking Kawaki, lifting him up into the air with just his right hand. Code says, just one thing. I've got to tell you something important. You might even be surprised by this. But you're going to be excluded from my revenge list. Kawaki says, nothing. Code says, there's someone who wants to meet you. I really can't stomach it, but you're always needed by someone, so you'll be coming with me. Code then creates an X where he's standing with his claw marks. Code's knees start sinking into them. He still has Kawaki in a chokehold at the entire time. But then Boruto suddenly comes in flying with a kick. This separates Kawaki from Code's grip. Boruto now stands in between Code and Kawaki. Boruto says, geez, why didn't you tell me exactly where you were running off to? That really pissed me off. Kawaki says, Boruto. Side text, his brother, Boruto, came running towards Kawaki's predicament. Would they be able to stop Code? Who is their enraged and formidable foe? And that's going to wrap up the chapter. So it seems like we're going to end off on a cliffhanger of Boruto coming through and saving Kawaki at the end. So next chapter we might be getting Kawaki and Boruto teaming up to fight Code. That could be some really cool action right there. Or it's possible maybe Code will have some backup next chapter. Maybe there's a chance, Naruto comes through following Boruto eventually, or Sasuke shows up. We'll find out next month when the chapter comes out, but I did post some preview spoilers for chapter 63, so if you are interested in that, go check out that video. It's very short, but it does cover that nonetheless. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the full spoilers. Be sure to leave a like if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you are new. Hope you guys have a good day or night. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.